Let's hope the sound works this time. And if it's a bit echoey, give me a heads up. And I will try and make sure it's working because I don't want to launch a video if it's not working. Right. So I'll wait for people to connect. And then we will get into the energy. Now, those of you who are new, a very warm welcome. At the beginning of the video, I'm going to cover the dates that are the best for you, astrologically speaking. Some of the squaring aspects, which can be a bit more integration. And the crystal for the month for you guys, which will actually help you balance out this energy. On May, we are going to be having quite a few transits, okay? So we're going to have quite a few retrogrades. We're also having the nodes shift, which is going to bring a new theme into our life. That's going to be covered for the next 2.5 years. So it is a very important transit. You'll also find that some of the weather patterns are going to be changing, especially since, how can I put it? With Scorpio, it does link into Mars and Pluto energy. And when we do have that there, it can actually change the frequency of weather patterns and things to that degree. And you do tend to find around the times that we have eclipses, it does change that energy too. So it's theoretically the winds of change right now. How's the audio going, guys? Is it coming through okay? Here's hoping, or I'm going to have to get my phone. Is it all coming through clear? Because we don't want to be going forward without it working. Anyway, we do have the orange crystal for the month, which is your sacral chakra. This is where you get your drive from. It's where you get your charismatic energy from. It's also where we have fear-based frequency. You do tend to find if you're dealing with an aspect of adversity, this energy can directly be triggered. Meditating, using the meditation, food-related dynamics that can assist with balancing that, aromatherapy, meditation and hertz therapy, but tapping into it and actually utilising crystals sometimes to heal that. Now, during this month, like I said, we do have a lot of retrogrades, so it's more a time to go inside, to reflect. It can bring about sudden change, especially with the full moon in Scorpio. The moon can relate in similar to the energy of Pluto and Mars. So it does link in with your 7th house. And your 7th house is marriages, contracts, partnerships. Being a full moon, it's a perfect time to clear your home. There can be information that comes at left field to do with a connection, a contract. There also can be one cycle closing out and a brand new beginning. And again, because the moon directly relates to your 3rd house, there can be secrets around this time that can come to the forefront that were hidden from you, either from yourself or from another person. So just be really mindful, and it will flow through the month because we do have a lot of Pluto energy and the energy of Pluto in retrograde. Now, on the 10th, we have the Sun sextiling Neptune, and this does link in with your 1st house, being yourself, your 4th house, which is very much with the Sun linking in, and your finances. So it's a positive aspect when it does come to your hopes and dreams. It can mean that if you're meditating upon something and have a hunch, it's a really great time to document. It can be money from the past coming back to you. It's also your career sector and your finances. And even if you're looking at a business venture and wanting to launch it, it is beneficial. We also, on the same day, have Mercury for you guys, trining Jupiter. And it does link into the 8th house, which this is where I'm getting a bit funny with this one aspect. And I do feel it's because falling in the 8th house, it is very similar to the 12th house in which it's sort of hidden. It's it can be dropping codependency, really. That's really the way I look at the 8th house, is looking at where potentially you're enabling other people and liberating yourself from it. So although it is positive, it may be to the point where you realise in order to move forward needing to let something go. But it is a positive aspect and you are going to achieve glory at the end of that energy. On the 11th, we have Mercury entering Gemini. Again, we do have Venus retrograde in Gemini. So we do have a lot of Gemini placements this month, especially with node shifting. This does fall in your 2nd house of hidden resources, your income, your money in general, and assets. So there can be themes of this coming up on this day. And most of the energy, when it does kind of interact with your employment, with your hidden resources, if you're wanting to network and do things to that degree to locate jobs, etc. It can be a very beneficial point to actually be looking at, even in a meditation sense for the future. We also have on the 11th Mars squaring Mercury. Now, we currently do have the energy of Mars around this date is going to be in Aquarius. And these themes, really the Aquarius, we have Saturn retrograding in Aquarius, and we're going to get that in 2021. So over the next few months, you're going to pick up themes of what this Aquarius vibration is. And it will very much depend on where that hits. And for you personally, it lands in your 10th house. Your 10th house also does link into your career sector. So there can be integration that's needed on this day. Squaring aspects aren't the most comfortable. They're sort of like two paradigms trying to fit in together. So it can be a bit of a complicated time. Maybe there's a little bit of conflict trying to merge everything and get everything done. But you are going to find a way, and there will be solutions as you move through the month. Mercury on the 12th is going to be trining Saturn. Themes surrounding your networking, your communication, your finances, and again, your career are going to come up. So this can even be, if you aren't currently working, that you're meditating upon those energies and looking at what you can do to move forward. On the 13th, Mars is going to be entering Pisces. And again, this is a great financial day. When you have 11th house placements, either A, you are looking at different ways you can create revenue, abundance, or B, money can actually be coming towards you in some shape or form. It can also be where you're creatively looking. Hi, Canada. I'm hoping the sound's fine. I had to stop and start the video. We have a storm here, so the weather's not so great. So with the way your energies are transiting, having the 11th house is very positive. But it is a shift within your finances, and it's a unique way of you guys doing it. And I do feel, because you've got the crystal for the fair-base frequency, the orange chakra, the sacral chakra, maybe feeling a bit sluggish and not having the energy to get things done, maybe feeling slightly unmotivated during the month. Try and deal with that and look at it, but try to look at your circle of concern and honing in on unique ways that you guys can create. With Sagittarius falling in your 8th house, and this does fall on the 14th, Mars is squaring the nodes. The sound works. I'll be coming tomorrow to do a twin flame update in collective astrology, so here's hoping it all works. So with Sagittarius in the 8th house, the 8th house, like I mentioned, is very similar to the 12th in that you are dropping a codependent pattern. And because the nodal energy is there, in order to grow, you're directly leaving something behind. You're looking at something, and, you know, even from a karmic point, the 8th house is a very karmic energy. You do actually grow through it. You find healthier people to deal with. You know, potentially if you were hiding behind energies, you tend to realise this. But it is a very spiritual, transformative house to be in. So it's not a negative thing. We all land in all these houses at some point. And this particular aspect for you guys is really showing you, you know, what you've learned and what you need to do now moving forward. So it's really positive. Now, most of the month really is looking pretty good. There's a lot of assessment. There's a lot of meditation. We are going to be having Juno going direct on the 25th, and Juno does fall in your 6th house. So again, there are themes of employment and money and growth and what this is going to be. We're also having on the 22nd, Mercury will be, let me look, in conjunction with Venus. Now, the Venus energies for you are the 2nd, 6th and 1st house. So it's really good. And when I say really good, your communication energy is going to be flowing, your employment, you may have some ideas, your health. Looking at it, it's a positive day for health. Any 6th house placements is a really good time to look at your health, your well-being, your balance, feeling more balanced. So I would say between the Gemini moon, the new moon in Gemini, many people will feel a little bit more optimistic and potentially looking at things slightly more open-minded. Now, by the end of the month, a lot of us will have deep clarity, and it is due to the positioning of the planets. Now, I have pulled your cards ahead of time, and your chakra that came up, as I mentioned, is to do with, it can be fight and flight. Do I need to do something? do I need to let it go? Now, your first card in your general energy was the Four of Cups. And, somebody asked me the other day, how does 4 directly relate in numerology? If you've been seeing a lot of 444s, which can be synchronistic for you guys, it's really the inner, outer, upper and lower. And it's a bit like earth, air, fire, what is balancing everything out. So if you at a spiritual level might feel you need to fine tune some areas, when you're seeing that number, it's really guiding you to look at the things that maybe you're almost there. It's basically saying you're almost there. And have a look at it. Now, this can be the card of boredom. Now, I was even talking about this with my daughter this morning because a couple of videos I have looked at have been in various formats, not necessarily astrology or twin flame path or tarot, but just creative content. And there was one gentleman that was talking about creative flow and how, a bit like writer's block, in our life when we get writer's block, it does apply to various areas of our life. So, how do we balance that? How do we recreate that vibe? It's coming to terms and accepting the fact that maybe you've outgrown something. And it's not necessarily that it's a bad thing. It's that you have transformed and potentially some of your friend groups, some of the things you were doing before just don't directly relate. I do feel you're needing a person that is able to communicate with you. I also feel you want more earnesty and honesty. For some of you, a lot of your movement is very much going to be quite career-orientated, health-orientated. But definitely there can be a lot of abundance that does come to you in the next 2.5 years. I also feel with the sun entering Gemini, Leo really is your 4th house. So at a psychological level, when we have eclipses, you guys really do need to ground yourself. You can find there can be some disruptions at home. There may be psychological energies and, especially with moon energy, that can really be pushing you as well. I'm feeling as though whatever was occurring in the past, maybe even a meditation of contracts, connections, love lives, there's this deep reflection and potentially even, fair to move away from it or fair to do with you actually feeling that this is a possibility, a very grounded connection, a very cemented connection. It might be concern about family, concern about the well-being of everything going on. Again, I'm feeling it's more with all the aspects of the sun making aspects to the position in your astrology. So I feel if you just have that mindset and understand that trigger's coming up, I do feel you'll be okay. It's just because it's touching on your 4th house. It's really, really important you balance this chakra. A lot of your manifestation, a lot of your creative energy is directly being affected. Hi, Dale. At the heart of it, it's like, again, like I'm saying, creative block. Can I trust this position? Can I trust this person? Is life going to change? It's a lot of fear-based frequency. Even you trusting in yourself to actually be a creative being can really be coming up. Now, there's another energy coming through from a psychic perspective. There is a child. If you are a parent, I'm feeling there is a child in particular that has caused you great concern. You don't know how quite to look at this. Now, it may be from a psychological point of view. It doesn't even have to be your child. I'm just hearing the energy of a child potentially is concerning you. There's something going on with this child that's concerning you. I also feel you're potentially unable to talk to certain people. Now, I don't feel it's because of what's going on in the collective. I just feel it's you're trying to keep your cards very close to your chest. You're trying to keep your business very private. But there's also, it's like you can't speak to your family. You don't want your family to know or something to that degree. It just feels very private. You're tired of asking. You don't want handouts. You don't want help. You're being very... And I think it's because you're saying in your auric field, no, enough is enough. Something has to change. This is getting ridiculous. It just feels you've had enough. You've really been through the ringer. Maybe at a financial level, maybe a home-based energy, Where's Cancer for you guys? It's your third house. Yeah, that's why my throat chakra is going when I'm tuning into it. Look, I can honestly say, even though you're feeling this right now, it's happening for a reason. I'm also seeing that because you have so many 11th house placements, please trust yourself. Because with the orange chakra, it's fear-based frequency. Go into the solution energy. I feel that you're going to find a solution. Yeah, it feels very uncomfortable. I also feel if you're co-parenting or potentially a single parent, it's not just one side, it does feel that you have an awful lot of, sort of being backed into a corner, not really getting the support you need. Look, it may even be just on you, be it you're caring for a sick relative or it's like it's you. That's what I'm hearing. It's just all on you. You want something totally different. Hi, Giggle. Yeah, you're wanting something totally different, and you are you're very tired, but you also are meditating on things. Now, if you're waking up early, it is because in your waking hour, you are thinking too heavily and dealing with other energies, and the 8th house placement is really to do with that, guys, especially when we're placing everyone ahead of us. It almost is like that energy of enough is enough. Now, with that, what you can do is if you're waking up at night, let the house get messy. It's a bit like, how do we say it? Organized chaos. Now, what's going on the outside of you is what's going on the inside of you. And it's very unfair. I'll be completely honest with you. But you need to now be gentle to yourself. And even when I'm talking, it feels very emotional. Very, very emotional. Like at the burst of a heart, you could burst into tears because you're just, oh God. And I wouldn't even say it's just complete fatigue. It feels a bit of insomnia going on. Like no sooner does one thing go right, something goes wrong. Again, we've got to be careful fixating into that. Yeah. Everything is serving a purpose. It's showing you a different facet of you. Let me have a look with movement. Potentially with the Jupiter energy, yes, it can be. With the Gemini energy, also yes, because Mercury energy comes into Gemini, so potentially there is movement happening over the next. Look, once the energy shifts, and I always said when we had the nodes moving into Sagittarius and Gemini, transformations would be happening. More movement will come with the temporary delay. It really gives us the art of appreciation. Now, with that, Gemini is to do with movement. It can be travel. Also, with the 8th house placement of Sagittarius, it's if somebody is needing on you, maybe toxic, maybe negative, during Pluto retrograde and the full moon, that's where it changes, okay? And I think that really, any decisions you guys are wanting to make quite majorly, I do feel it is a 360 and you're going, and it does feel the energy of going home. And especially, maybe you need to speak that into truth. You need to network, being that it's your 3rd house. Old cycles that are folding out are coming through in the next 3 months. Now, they are occurring this month, but because we're having the eclipses, it's really shoving them out. What else am I saying? There is a energy of a love interest. Now, okay, I see you guys meditating on partnerships in general, and it does make sense of the Scorpion moon. This can be if somebody's hidden you from other people. It can be you feeling that you need to hide it. And, I'm telling you, this Scorpion moon is going to be very uncomfortable. Now, when I say very uncomfortable, it's a bit like a hidden closet. And remember, Venus retrograde, we get that anyway. Then you add the full moon on Scorpio. And if there's some deep dark, dirty secret. This is really, and this is for everyone collectively. Those things can be coming out. It can be, and the 8th house is really where you dissolve it. You resolve the shame. You be authentically yourself. It feels a very complicated scenario. I don't feel you intended it to be such. And this could be way in the past, but it could be at a spiritual level coming back in. This can also be the other person holding this from you, or it could be happening on your side of the fence. Had happened, past tense. It does feel like there's more than one energy here. But also I'm seeing it's like flashback energy that potentially can be occurring, linking in with connections. I'm also seeing a beach. There's a beach in a memory, linking in potentially with a family gathering, a partner. Yeah, it feels strange. Okay, we'll get back to this and we'll see if anything more comes through. Yeah, somebody's being quite secretive. Somebody's being a little bit up and down. If you're tuning into a partner and you are in a partnership and their mood has been up and down, it can relate to the moon. You're wanting movement. You're wanting things to move, and you kind of feel, look, you're looking back and all these promises and things that were going to be. Yes, okay, at a collective level, things have changed, but it's kind of like, can we get a giddy up here? And what you're looking for is a solid connection. Some of you, I'll be honest, there is 2 potential paths. This can be directly with the same person, or it can be jumping ship. Do you just jump ship and hope for better horizons? There is a lot of fear that does come from this. But there's a balancing out that needs to occur with the family, but I feel it's more going to occur with you on an internal level first. Once you've cemented that energy and got grounded, if you're waking up at 3 a.m, it's the only way universe can actually say stop. And when you stop, you're giving yourself the time to have no white noise, nothing to do, no excuses, and you're just gifting that to yourself. And you need to get into this habit of doing that, especially near the 11th. And it can be a few days either side, and moving to the 22nd, because those are the trigger days, right? Not to say there won't be any more, but they're the trigger days that are coming up. Okay, now your general energy, and it does make sense, full moon's linking with relationships. I'm going to pull some cards for money and work. Like I said, your 11th house placement's really beneficial. So if you guys are thinking, gosh, is anything going to change? During the retrograde, yes, it can be high antenna career. Okay, yes, there can be a change of location. Remember, I said the number 4 is really linking in with you guys. 444. Above, below, inner, outer, earth, air, fire, water. Working towards balance in all aspects. Now, in your work domain, again, it can come down to a connection, a home, a location, bringing things together in all realms in your life. And your career, maybe spiritually, some of you might not be working. Others of you that are, you're trying to bring something together. Some of you may be operating from home. Makes sense. But it's trying to look at a unique way, maybe getting pulled in various directions. And with your 4th house placement, as I mentioned, let me look with the sun, and we're having so many aspects to the sun this month, you're going to have some triggers on your home front when it does come to your psychology. So with the fear-based frequency and your psyche and the BS going on, keep grounded, because it can affect all the other aspects and the hard work you've done. Look back, because at the moment, be it pertaining to your ambition, your career, your finances, 7s is very positive. Look back in the closet of your ideas, hopes, and dreams. There's something there. And this could be literally in a closet, maybe even some paperwork stored, and you're looking for something. I don't say things for nothing. It always will relate in some shape or form. It doesn't have to make sense to me. It's sort of like you've put it away. You need to bring it back out, whatever that was. Going through it, clearing the energy. Also, maybe in your office area, if you were looking for something and lost it, I'm feeling it's in a box. Okay, this can be legal documents, maybe connecting them with business, contracts, work, insurance, etc. Follow your intuition with what to do. Follow your intuition at a financial level. Somebody might be asking you for money as well. Although I do feel for some of you, you may wish to ask, but it feels polar opposite. Somebody's going to come and ask for you. Your foundation in general, trying to kind of balance everything out, has been a little bit stressful. But again, your sleeping pattern being broken and that chakra being out of balance will also affect it. Get that grounded. Come back to the now moment. Use this month to assess, and that should help balance it out. Now, overall in your romance house, you're wanting a new beginning. Even if it's just a slight gesture, you know, some sign from universe, you're just wanting something slight. Past tense energy, it might have been you giving and nobody else giving, and at the heart of it, you feel all of this has to come to an end the way it is. You're reminiscent and dreaming up the way it should be. But your foundation is very much like, hey, you know, I need to get up, I need to go. Take my money and go. That's sort of what it feels like. You've learned something, and you feel maybe this was a karmic lesson. Now, this can relate, and I pulled an external card. I'm like, what is this about? This can be for some of you an Aries energy. For some of you, it can be relating to wounds. So remember, the 7th, we're going to have the full moon in Scorpio. It can relate into wounds, and this potentially could be a vibration that you move out of. Some of you do feel people just want you for your money. Some of you feel in general they didn't appreciate your finance, or as in your wealth, your abundance, you as your own energy. Some of you also may be feeling maybe a love interest is having issues with money. So it can be however it lands, but I'm seeing something to do with money. Okay, if you guys had a question, the answer to it is they weren't quite ready. Whatever it be, whatever's come up, and it feels more recent. Something has happened and they weren't quite ready. So if there's something that plays out this month and you are in the partnership, they weren't quite ready. That's what I'm hearing. So be it there has been some miscommunication. It can even be past tense. It wasn't as per se that movement wasn't wanted or transformations and change, be it in the connection or separate, however it lands. With this person, there's something where they weren't ready. Now, I will look into it further. Now, the crowning energy with them is their, again, sun energy. So it could be that they're a Leo, or they can be dealing with a legality currently right now. This can be pertaining to work or directly a person from the past. But there is separation energy here, be it with you or another energy. Feels past tense energy. Now, they have really been, again, the 4 energies coming up. If you've been feeling fatigued, you could be tapping into theirs. This could have been around April. I'm seeing the energy of April here. At the very end as well. I just feel you're really focusing on maybe your emotions. It could be that you feel directly that they are too focused on their career, too focused on their finances, maybe very strict and rigid with the way they come across. And you're just, thinking if all of these things have leveled up and changed, where this boredom energy in general with your life, maybe through an observation point of view and seeing, are these things going to change? I just keep feeling eat, pray, repeat. And wanting that energy to be unique and vibrational, unique and uplifting. What are the surrounding energies? Oh, there is going to be a judgment here. Again, I keep saying one child. Now, this can either be their direct childhood or on a, this separate level, connecting them with romance. There can be a child. There's something to do with a child or not having a child or something to that degree. I do feel around the 25th, this is really when you're going to see a real transformation in their energy, a real transformation in your relationship. There is a bit of stubbornness here for this to move. And I do feel if they don't follow through, I do feel this will be their downfall. Some of you are getting quite frustrated. You're wanting some change. You're wanting some movement. I do feel if you're in a coupledom and you feel that this partner isn't acknowledging or understanding some of these things, it can be a very frustrating time for you. And you just got to be really cautious with your throat chakra. And the reason I say that is because during the Venus retrograde, you sort of get all these energies that come up. So you're wanting to learn something out of the transit, but you know, if something's meant to bust, it's meant to bust. I'll be honest. In energy, in theory, from what I've learned in life, if it's meant to, it's meant to. Some of you, I do feel if that's the case, it's more you choosing to do that than them. I don't feel, you know, if you're in a partnership, they're going to up and leave. I feel it's you getting frustrated with the situation. I do feel those of you that are in relationships, you're going to clear that closet out and sort things out. But there's a lot of external things going on. Those of you that are separate, this person is, they're being buggering around and they're stubborn. Hi, Yildiz. Where are you from? Oh, gosh. Born in New Zealand, English, Irish, French, and Turkish background, and I've done a lot of travelling, and I stayed in London for a while, so my accent's from the world. That's why it's so all over the shop. Last one. Okay, what else does Taurus need to know? With this person, honest. Oh, what is this? Why are they so stuck? Okay, they're micromanaging themselves. They're really micromanaging themselves. Why? I think you make them a bit nervous, to be quite honest. This can even be in the relationship. Yeah. They're like, okay, do I use my power? Do I not? They're scared because they think maybe you don't want them. But they're gonna level up and sort this out. They're like, oh, what? You mean it's my turn to do something? Yeah. Yeah. Cross-watcher. Yeah. It's okay. We've all been there. We've all been there. Yeah, it feels like you're probably picking up on their bloody energy. Balance your chakras. And get some tumble okay? Yeah. All right, some interesting energy there. Now, like I said, there was a frequency, and because I read for so many of you, and I'm psychic and I tap into energy, some of the messages will land, some of the messages will be for one individual in the house. Now, there was one where be careful with the Pluto retrograde energy and the full moon in Scorpio. If there's a dark secret, it's going to come out. It's not, and this is for everyone collectively, it's 8th house. It can be where we were codependent, but maybe not completely committed. And it's very devil energy. Yeah, I'm being coded here the way I'm speaking, you know, down and dirty. Yeah, you get my gist. That energy can be actually shown out in the open. A lot of Mercury energy, guys. So, you know, I've been there, done that to the point. I've been the good, the bad, and the ugly. Well, whatever. Any questions before I go to bed? Is Justin coming back? Been having visions of him showing up at my doorstep soon. Yeah, generally when you get that, keep detaching, and you do tend to find, yes, that energy does come in. You'll feel the energy. You won't feel anything at all. Then you'll start seeing the energy and almost be like they're there. Yes, I did experience that. And plus, with the Neptune aspects at the moment and the Pisces, you'd be seeing a lot of things right about now. My house is full, and it's not dark energy. It's just active energy, very active energy. Okay, so my twin's gone to bed, so I'm going to bed. And tomorrow I will even do super chart. I will do a twin flame update. I do have a client in the morning. Always remember, if you're booking on the website, pick Perth WA time. You've got the time slot converter, and I've got the info video on there, you know, to explain how to actually transform time with shapeshifter of time to convert time. But it's a pretty simple app on the computer. So on the website, see how tight I am? Be careful with your chakra systems, guys. Tumble and balance your lower chakras, because I do feel we're getting a bit of a spiritual attack there, and it is affecting your frequency. 8th house, be careful with that. Needing a booking? I'll see you all live tomorrow for the twin flame, for the astrology at a collective level and the psychic updates I've got. See you soon.